Now the mother had to take care of the family by herself. She was left to take care of 3 young boys. Hanif's mother, Hema Aziz. What was Hanif's mother's name? Hema Aziz, a vocal artist. Artist means a professional entertainer. She used to sing. She was a vocal artist. Okay, she was an entertainer. Where? She would often have to leave Hanif and his brothers alone as she travelled with the performance wing of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. She used to travel with a company which is called Information and Broadcasting Ministry. So she was an artist, and they all used to travel all over India for their shows. So at that time she had to leave Hanif and her brothers alone, and they had to take care of themselves. Okay. So life was not very easy for him, and obviously mother had to go through all this because she was single-handedly taking care of the family, isn't it? She was a single parent, so it was difficult for her. Recalls Hema Aziz. Who is Hema Aziz? Hanif Uddin's mother. She is remembering, she is recalling. I had a touring job and was out very often, and the kids became very responsible, getting up and getting ready for school without my having to tell them. I didn't have to tell them in so many words, but my going to work without excuses gave them the message that one's duty is the most important thing in life. Absolutely. Now we all have our parents, isn't it? Without our parents being there, if your mama is not there, one day we don't get up for exam or we don't get up for school. But Hanif's life was not easy. All 3 brothers used to do everything by themselves. They used to get up in the morning, make their tiffin boxes, make their lunches, get ready on their own, study on their own, sleep on their own. They didn't have to take instructions from anyone. Okay, and this, they saw their mother every now and then going for her job. She did not miss it for anything. That sent a message to the children. What? That job comes first. Your duty comes first, be it to your nation or to your boss. Your duty comes first than anyone else, right? Yes, your family needs you. Someone's not well, agreed. But on an everyday basis, your job, your duty comes way ahead. And it is very, very important in life. So learn from this, children, very, very important statements. One's duty is the most important thing in life. She sent this message to her children by practicing it herself, because she took her duty important. Okay, and at that point, because of she not being there, her children also became very, very responsible from the very young age. While Hanif's elder brother Nafisuddin, what was mama's name? Hema Aziz. What was elder brother's name? Nafisuddin, went on to become a teacher and was at the J.D. Tyler School, New Delhi at the time of the tragedy. Which tragedy? When Hanifuddin passed away, sacrificed his life. He was a teacher at a school. Okay. His younger brother took to composing music on his Casio. Casio is a musical instrument. Alright, this is a Casio. So the older one was a teacher, the younger one was a Casio player. So there was some musician in their family, again after their father. Hanif would often team up with him on the drums. So mother is an artist, father is an artist, brother is an artist. So even Hanif used to sometimes play drums with his brother. So obviously when someone in your family member does something, you also join them on and off, isn't it? An introvert. Introvert, what does that mean? That's a person who is interested in his own thoughts. One is an introvert, one is an extrovert. Introvert is always busy with themselves and their own thoughts. Extrovert likes to meet people, is very outgoing. He loves to go out. Introvert doesn't like to go out too often. Hanif was an introvert. He began to make friends only by the time he was 14 years old. Till he was 14 years old, he had no friends. He would often go out of his way to help people because that gave him a certain kind of joy. He actually did not have too many friends till he was 14, but he loved helping people, and also because it gave him a lot of joy. He would go out of his way to do things for people because it made him happy. He was in general a very kind person. In fact, this was the quality his seniors recounted when they came to meet me after his death. After his death, what does Mama say? All his seniors had come to meet them, isn't it? So what did they recall? They recalled that he liked to spread joy. He likes to help everyone. He was a very kind-hearted soul. Explains his mother. And he was able to reach out to all. We all used to like talking to him. He used to go and talk to everyone and solve everyone's problems. You know, when he died, everyone came to meet the Mama. So that's when they all told her that this is what we knew about Hanif. Hema mentions that a 77-year-old gentleman, such an old gentleman, who paid a condolence. Condolence is when a person dies and you come and greet. You tell them sorry about what happened. That's a condolence meet. Visit to Hanifuddin house recalled how Hanif had approached him with some queries related to Sufism. So Hanif had gone to this 77-year-old gentleman to learn about Sufism. Now what is Sufism? Sufism is a religious philosophy that advocates attainment of godhood through prayer. Sufism is a very different form of prayer. Okay, so he wanted to learn that. This is what shows us that he was interested in Sufism. It includes meditation, simple and very strict way of living. Okay, it's like living on the ground. So very, very simple living through meditation and strict routine. So that's Sufism. So he was interested in Sufism too. Hanif was a student of Kerala school in New Delhi and had applied to the army when he was graduating from Shivaji College. So where was his schooling from? Kerala school. Where? In New Delhi. Which college did he go to? Shivaji College, again in New Delhi. Yet Hanif didn't know much about the army till then. Till he passed out college, he did not know too much about army. The only exposure my sons had was through me, as I had often gone to the forward areas on performances for the Armed Forces Entertainment Wing. Now her mother was working with the information technology and she was going to places, right? So she also used to go to the armed wings. Where did she go? She went to the Armed Forces Entertainment Wing. They have a lot of nice functions, you know, these army forces. So their mother used to go there to perform. So that's when the kids also have seen it sometimes. Otherwise they had no other way of exposure. They wouldn't go out too often. Okay, what is exposure here? Experience or knowledge. The kids had experience of army only with mother because she used to go and perform there. Okay. However, 6 months into the Indian Military Academy, that's called the IMA. What is IMA? Indian Military Academy training. The gentle Hanif was a changed man. In only 6 months when he joined the army, Hanif was a very different man. Very different. His ways of living had changed. Okay. During those days, he used to write to me about how tough the training was. He used to write that he's going through a very difficult time because the training was very, very tough. It's tough in the beginning, a lot, because your entire routine changes. I particularly remember him telling me that they had to take a Masuri bath at midnight. You know, these soldiers go through such extreme tortures to bear, to become strong, to go in the battle, to go in the war. They are strong. So imagine a Masuri bath at midnight. That means a chilly cold bath at midnight. I suppose it was some kind of cold water bath at midnight, remembers Hema. So these are the kind of training that these army forces have to go through. Post training, after the training, post is after, pre is before. Hanif joined the 11 Rajputana Rifles and was posted at Jaipur and then Siachen, just prior to the Kargil war. So his postings were first in Jaipur in Rajputana Rifles, then he moved to Siachen and then he went for the Kargil war. Now what is Kargil war? It's the war between India-Pakistan. It is always remembered. That war and the sacrifices made in those wars are remembered till today and will be remembered forever. When was the war? 1999. Yet life for Hanif was always ekdam bindas. He dabbled in art. That means he tried to draw, though not seriously. He dabbled. He didn't take it seriously, but he liked doing it. Sketched very well, made beautiful cards out of waste material, read a great deal and loved playing the drums. Although he was a soldier, he was into army, he was going through this very strict training process, but still they all call his life ekdam bindas. How is life ekdam bindas? Because he was involved in so many nice activities. See, like for example, he sketched, he made cards out of waste material, he read a lot, and he loved playing the drums. Okay, so he was also creative. He had that creative eye in him. Which is why the officers at the Raj Rifles, as the army terms the 11 Rajputana rifles, what do they call? They can't call every time Rajputana rifles, right? So they used to call it Raj Rifles. So 11 Raj Rifles, what did they say, officers? They made him get all his instruments from Delhi and form the music group, now called Hanif. Imagine, they really liked Hanif, how he used to play drums and all that, and how he was so interested in art. So they asked him to get all the instruments and make a band for the army. So he could play and they could have a leisure time. And what did the band be called now? Band is called Hanif. While there was not enough time to rise up the ranks as he had dreamed, another of Hanif's wishes did come true when the sub-sector was named after him. So first the band, which is still there. So Hanif's name is still there. Now another, you remember the mountain cliff that was named after him, the sub-sector? So Hanif is still living with us. That's why it is said, ever cherished. As a young officer, Hanif had once told his mother how a post, which post? The Nana Singh post, had been named after a brave soldier. So Hanif had told his mother, you know how you keep talking to your mother and you tell them that I like this, I like that, I liked about that day. You tell your mother everything. So he also was very nicely telling Mama that a post is named after a soldier. Nana Singh post, after Nana Singh soldier. He was very happy with that. Yeah. So his bravery does live on in the air of the cold mountains and on the plains. In the air of. His bravery was felt by one and all. So just like that, even we can feel his bravery on the snow-capped mountains, which are named after Hanif. A scholarship also. What is a scholarship? When someone is very talented or enthusiastic, or you see that urge in them to study, scholarship is given to them, which means a certain amount of money is given to them for education. A scholarship now exists in his name, and his family has started a school in Kulu under the Hanif Foundation. What is the program called? Hanif Foundation. The school is also called the same. Despite the pain and loss, Hanif has earned his family a glory that will see them through the years. In spite of them losing their son, it's a big, big loss. What happens? They see Hanif's family, they live with glory through the coming years. It is this pride that has made Hema Aziz politely decline the Indian Army's compensation offer of a petrol pump. Now, whenever an army officer dies, he gets a compensation from the government. So, even like someone might get the job of their father. You know, anyone, they get a lot of compensations when they sacrifice their life. So, even Hema Aziz got an offer for a petrol pump to work there. But she happily, politely declined. She didn't want that offer. Why she didn't want that? What did she say? There are some families whose sole bread earner is gone. They needed more, says this mother of a martyr. What did she say? She had 2 more sons who were happily giving her money to live. She said there are so many families where their sole bread earner, that means the only person that earned in their family, is no more in that war. So they needed more than me. I don't need it. Please give it to them. So how son was so kind-hearted, even the mother was so kind-hearted. Isn't it great? So this ends the chapter, A Great Martyr. It's a nice chapter, very easy chapter, but a lot to learn from this chapter, isn't it? We should appreciate our soldiers, our army men, who without thinking of anything else, no selfish reason, they sacrifice their life for us. They do so much, you know. So take a promise that we will always appreciate life. Okay, let's read the summary of A Great Martyr quickly for you to understand the chapter, and then we will do the question answers. So, A Great Martyr Ever Cherished is about a young boy called Hanifuddin who lost his life while fighting the Kargil war. He was only 25 when he became a martyr, serving his motherland. In recognition of his heroism, the Turtuk sector in Kargil is named after him. Hanif never had an easy life. He lost his father when he was only 8 and learned to be independent whenever his mother was away on work. Although an introvert, there was no dearth of talent in Hanif. He sketched, he made cards with waste material, and he played drums. His musical talent was used in the army also, when the soldiers asked him to get all his musical instruments, and they formed a troupe which was later called Hanif 7. Though his two brothers turned out to be teacher and a music composer, Hanif joined the army, honoring his instinct to serve his motherland. Right from his childhood, Hanif knew what he wanted to do. Although his family was completely into an artist kind of a profession, Hanif wanted to join the army. It was to serve his motherland. What was his only aim, mission, dream? To serve his motherland. Motherland, India. Unfortunately, the cruel hand of fate snatched him away, and India lost a very young soldier who would have continued to do a lot of good for the country, because helping others was in his nature. He was always helping. So we lost this very gentle soul. As if the country knew about his secret desire, it named a subsector after him. Yeah? Hanif, as a young officer, had marveled at the idea of Nana Singh Post being named after a soldier. So he liked that idea of a post named after a soldier. As a fitting tribute to his helping and selfless nature, his mother refused to accept a petrol bunk in the government offered her as a compensation, saying that there were other people or other poorer soldiers who might need it more. Okay, so we've read about Hanifuddin. Let's solve some question answers. Children, the question answers are on page 191. So open the book, come to page 191 and do it with me. Question 1. The writer speaks of the smile that welcomes anyone who enters Hanif's house. What more do we know about this smile? Those who enter Hanif's house, they were welcomed by his smile. But this smile was confined in the picture frame. Yes, Lieutenant Hanifuddin was a young martyr. He sacrificed his life during the Kargil war at the age of 25 years. He loved his work and was very, very happy all the time. So there was a smile, but the smile was captured only in the photo frame. Question 2. What did Hanif choose as his mission and why did he do so? During his training at the IMA, Indian Military Association, he changed gently to a dedicated soldier. Perhaps Hanifuddin knew about that his life was so short and he needed to repeatedly remind himself of his goal, his mission. Though he came from a family of musicians, he decided to change the lives. So he joined the army or chose this mission to serve our nation. What was his mission? To serve our nation, our motherland. Question 3. Life for Hanif in the beginning was never a smooth sail. Why was it so? When Hanif was only 8 years old, he lost his father. He had to take the responsibility to look after his 3 younger brothers. His mother, Hema Aziz, had a touring job. Touring job means going from one place to another, and was out very often. They had to do their work for themselves. So it was not a very smooth sail. They didn't have a parent with them all the time. So everything had to be done by themselves. Question 4. The absence of a mother from home taught the children something. What was that? What do you think you will miss most about your mama if she's not home when she goes out? What is your favorite thing that your mother does for you? Let me know. Hanif's mother, who was a vocal artist, would often have to leave Hanif and his brothers alone as she travelled with the performance wing of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. The absence of the mother taught the children the virtue of self-reliance, independent. Their mother, going to work without excuse, gave them the message that one's duty is the most important thing in life. Question 5. How does the writer describe the introvert Hanif? The writer says that Hanif, who was an introvert, started making friends only when he was already 14 years of age. However, this did not come in his way of helping others. Quite a few remember his helpful gesture even after his death. So even if he is no more with us, everyone remembers his helpful nature. Question 6. Hanif was a young man with varied talents and interests. Illustrate this statement by drawing support from the text. The life for Hanif was always ekdam bindas. He sketched very well, made beautiful cards out of waste material, read books and loved playing the drums. As a young man, he was so talented and had a very great interest in life. He was full of life. Now, there's another set of questions which are there. Share your thoughts and impression of Hanif with your classmates. I have done it for you. You can even discuss with your friends, classmates, parents. Hanif was a very fine young man whose patriotism can be emulated. The fact that he was from a musical family yet chose to join the military service shows that the desire to serve his nation was strong in him. He was a multifaceted personality also. That means at one side he used to play drums, the other side he was a soldier, he drew very well. So he was like a multi-faced personality, lot of talents in one face. But the most appealing feature of him was his helping nature and his commitment to the country. Imagine you had the opportunity of interviewing Hanif. Prepare a suitable questionnaire, write probable replies from Hanif. Okay, so let's see what all questions we can ask Hanif. So first question we can ask will be, what are your memories of your alma mater? Indian Military Academy. Alma mater is where you've got your education from. So what would Hanif say? The days at the IMA were the most important days of my life. They turned me into a new, I have picked up the text from the book only, from the chapter only. It turned me into a new person. Although the training was tough, it was worth it and turned us into healthy human beings. I will never forget the Masuri bath, which he always spoke about with his mother. What was the most memorable incident when you were at war? When I could fly the Indian flag at the Siachen, it filled me with a sense of pride. I will never forget that moment. That is the pride of moment for any soldier to have victory. Do you think your youngsters have a great future if they join the military force? Certainly, Hanif says. There is no doubt about it. The government offers many incentives to those who join the Indian Army. It's a well-paid job, but more than anything else, it's one chance that comes quite easily for youngsters to serve their motherland. What is your message to the youth of India? I would want our youth to be well focused. They have to set a goal for themselves and work towards that goal. While setting the goal, they need to have a vision. They cannot always take the beaten track. They need to be original and think out of the box. Unless they do this, they are likely to be frustrated in life, and that's not good for our nation. So here what I want to tell you is that just because this particular friend of yours, maybe this friend's father earns a lot of money and he's an engineer, would you want to be an engineer too? Just because someone else is doing and he has a lot of money? Will you like your job? Will you like studying that? I don't think so. I think everyone should be very well focused and think of just what you want. Think something which will give you happiness. Money is not always the happiness. Money will not always keep you happy. There are so many things in life that will make you happy, isn't it? If you have all the money in the world, if you're admitted in the hospital and you have this kind of disease, you have lakhs and lakhs in your account, will it help you? No, it won't, right? So inner happiness is very, very important. So children, think of something as your vision, as your mission, as your goal, and go towards it. You will be happy always, and you will make us happy too. Okay? The next question would be, thank you very much for giving us your time. Hanif would say, it is a pleasure, and thank you children also to give me so much of your quality time. Yes, I'm so happy to tell you the story about this great martyr Hanifuddin, and I want all my children to have that little Hanifuddin in their hearts. I sign out with this chapter, Kashish Chuk. I will see you soon with the next chapter. Bye-bye.